Good morning, everybody. Long awaited day. Oh, well, what's it going to do here? Well, if this was a normal day, I would say it has to rally, just a relief rally. But you just look at this bottoming pattern here. Just let's forget about the news for a moment, right? And just look at the charts, and it's clear that downside momentum slowed down. Actually, came to like a screeching halt yesterday. This thing weren't moving. But as we always, do objectively looking at the distance between the lows, getting closer together, tells momentum is slowing. And, it was going down for a while, and new low reversal. And here we're getting a little downside shakeout. And buyers should, want to come in here and at least have some kind of, I think, morning attempt to go higher. It would be pretty bearish if it can't with a pattern like this, at least into 12 o'clock, and then things flatten out. Right? I can't, you could always imagine, but really at this point, it would just add to the uncertainty of the moment and just standing aside doing nothing until 2 o'clock if the markets were to break below this low right here. Looking at the S&Ps, and I would think buyers would step up there again. But in any event, just looking at this pattern, you've got the wide range bar. I know it's a little hard to see that bottoming tail bar right there. And, with a pattern like that, taking out the highs, it should go up. And of course, just grinding here. It's overall it's just messy, the uncertainty, tails, and so on. But just looking at what is going on here for the moment. And you could see yesterday, as this was going down, the day before and yesterday, how, the bars are about equal in size, and it just kind of grinds its way lower, really slow, in a kind of a painful way, because what we want to see at the end of a move is something like this. Like that's how it starts, little bear flag down, and then you get some kind of an acceleration, and that's, the end of the move. So right now, we'll just some stabilization there, 377. Gapping up to the high of that bar. Maybe we can get up to here, to the top of that little range. I would be surprised to see it get further than that. But we'll see. It's just not a great pattern for doing much here. Looking at the Qs, you see the little narrow range day that we had yesterday. Not even down to the pivot or those two pivots down there on the weekly time frame. I'm not excited about anything of significance on the upside here. What can they possibly do that could make this market rally? I just don't see it. I mean, other than a technical bounce from being down as it is down here. I'm on intermediate term. I just don't see anything. And after today, options expiration, the end of the week, get that undone, and then we can start over again to reload. And just looking at the moves down, I was looking for something of significance for a turning point to begin. Hopefully after this week. And whether that happens down here or at 250, whatever it might be, start a little bit of a bottoming process down in this area. What do the euro? What to do with euro USB? I can just show you the futures. I don't look at those. So euro. It's coming down here. I mean, look below here, short it down to this point. It keeps getting rejected. It's down a whole heck of a lot. It is down near this support down here from 2017. And so a retest and reversal pattern is a likely scenario. And in addition, with the dollar going up as it has, and interest rates and so on, should this drop down into here and get a reversal, which would mean the dollar starts pulling back, I mean, all of that would line up with the market starting to repair the damage. And you can see the dollar, taking out these highs and ripping higher right here. We've been talking about interest rates, the 5 years down here a little bit, but that's been leading the way up. There's the 3-month. So everything pointing toward, in alignment, let's just say, interest rates started going up way back here. And so yen, the dollar's on fire. So, we'll all see what the Fed does today. If they do half a point, I don't think the market's going to like that, because the market wants some relief that, to some extent in the short term, the worst is over. And then they're going to back off and see what happens. So 3/4 of a point, the market might sell off. That would be a good scenario. And then a reversal, and, take it from there. British pound, there's the rounding top and the drop, new lows. Support is down here, 120. It holds a bit, and, Canadian dollar at the bottom of the trading range. Internals. Well, close enough for government work to expect a low, Tony. Down into the bottom of the bands here, close to 120. I've mentioned in the past, in bear markets, this can go as low as 1.4, 1.5. We haven't seen that in many, many years. We have seen here where the markets have bottomed out. So, this is lined up together. Now, do we get a pattern? Do we get a reversal? Now, markets don't turn on a dime when they get down here like this, but we know that the accuracy of them, back here, we talked about how this confirmed the move up. And when one of my comments was, well, it just ran out of time, as it went sideways there, and it couldn't produce anything on the upside, and then getting closer to the CPI number last week, and longs just hit the bid. So now it's down here, and as if it wasn't we got two things: the Fed day, and we've got options expiration. So we get today out of the way, we see what happens, and I'm just looking at, where's the big open interest in SPX here? Well, the biggest down below is at 3,500. And usually at those whole numbers is where it's going to be, 3,700, 3,600. Open interest, well, let's see. Wow, the 3,500 expiring at the end of the week, and the 30 and 37 and 36. So there's a lot of put options expiring at the end of this week. So we're going to get things moving around here by the end of the week here. And look, everything's pointing toward, look, just let it go down, get some kind of washout, and then a reversal. And, as far as credit spreads, it should be, bull put credit spread heaven. Of course, then we just look for what showed relative strength, and looking for other longs, of course. There's just a lot of things that have been decimated. I was amazed to see even this Pendleton down under $10. I mean, just stocks getting, this was a pandemic thing, but just amazingly just getting destroyed. All right. Nasdaq Futures, going to be the same thing. I mean, if it, it would have to be a long trade, at least a long scalping trade looking for a bounce. And we'll see how far this gets. There's really not much to say about today other than the big news, because we got the same patterns everywhere. You can see even the same intraday patterns that are happening here. Russell, back down, bottoming out. Now Bitcoin almost tagged 20,000. I assume open buy orders down there at 20,000 to cover shorts to buy. And this will be something to see how this plays out in the coming days. So you've got this big topping pattern at 30,000 where it was jiggling around there. It breaks and there's nothing to stop it from going down. And there's a lot of pain to be dished out here if this doesn't hold this area. And so obvious place where buyers have begun to step up. We'll see if they can hold it. And, the correlation between here and the broader markets we've talked about for quite a while. So we'll keep an eye on this as we do during the day, and interest rates and so on. Crude oil, pulling back a little bit, still in a bull market. It is near the prior high, so sellers are going to be there. Simple look to the left, see where there's been a turn before. What a mess. Now, this could be, and we'll be keeping an eye on this. I like the possibility of a retest and reversal here. And with silver, go back to, the dollar ripping to the upside here, and maybe just like we look to the downside and look at the difference between the lows for momentum slowing. Well, we do the same thing in reverse as prices are going up. So the dollar coming up and just taking out this high, and we don't have a red bar yet, but as it takes out this high, greater than 100% retracement, and then you get a red bar, begins to make a turn here. So if we should see a high in the dollar, the dollar start coming down, and we see silver, making a reversal here, basically this is all you're be interested in. This has got a void up above. So again, we'll be keeping an eye on this and seeing in the coming days, does this reversal, and even if it doesn't hold today, it whips around some kind of bottoming pattern down here. Similarly with gold, right? What a fake out this was. And my comment in the green room last week when we saw this, I was like, I see that big green bar, but it doesn't make sense because the dollar isn't giving up an inch. So it was more of a just put the money somewhere as the market sold off. And what a nasty gap down reversal. So similarly retesting this, and we'll see if this reverses and the dollar rolls back over, and we look at those intermarket relationships. Any logic how you have your chart time frames laid out? Yeah, Brett. Daily, hourly, weekly, 15-minute, 5-minute. So this 5-minute, if I pick a futures contract, it's going to be on 24 hours. But if I pick spiders or Qs, because we're looking here pre-market, what's happening, I have this on a 24-hour chart so we can assess the size of the gap. And so you can see here, they're marked what they are: 60-minute, daily, weekly, 15, and then 5. And transports. Look, whatever kind of reversal we're going to get, we talked about this being a bear market way back when this started at the beginning of the year because of, yield curves inverting, beginning to invert way back when. So, and other things. But anyway, unless this makes a monster reversal, the transports, and we see interest rates start to reverse in the dollar and all that, this bear market is far from over. So while we may get a nice tradable bounce based on what I've already said, I mean, this topping pattern in the transports, looking at the Dow, this big rounding top, and look, 30,000 gets tagged today on a move down. Remember, there is an unfilled gap down here. Pointed this out in the letter over the weekend. So longer term, intermediate term, there's still plenty of bearish patterns. So any kind of a bounce that we get here, unless it's some kind of monster reversal, at this time we have no reason to think it's going to be. Other than having a relief rally, a summer rally, whatever it might be. Everything still points to lower prices unless we get some kind of a significant retracement. So we'll see what happens as it unfolds. So we'll sit back, whatever you can take advantage of here in the short term. Just remember what's coming. The market's going to whip around this afternoon around 2:00. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, then I expect more whipping around than usual, actually, myself. But what I did find interesting was your McClellan. Was that negative 300? I love that thing being cooked.
No, it was at minus 235.
Okay.
It's 200, but with that move down that we saw, I'm surprised that it wasn't lower, but we'll see where it is today.
Yeah, I mean, but for the Fed today, I would say this is no brainer 30-minute high to trade our little bounces and put spreads for Friday. But it's the big wild card. We talked about what happened the last two times. This one right here actually rallied in the day before the Fed meeting. This one, this big fat green bar was Fed meeting, 180 reversal the next day. Greg just said, hey, unless we get a big retracement, we're bear market shorting bounces. I agree. But this was actually a bullish retracement here and sideways, but it failed with bigger time frames being bearish. All right, we're actually flat in the weekly options trader. I've been getting emails yesterday saying, hey, where are my trades? But I don't have any for you here because I don't have a turn yet, number one, and number two, the Fed meeting. But I did just post a way out of the money 350 put for the advisory letter with no stop. 350 is beautiful minor support right here in this gap fill. So we'll take some then. Then it'd be a it'd be the second Climo on the weekly. In fact, that'd be a measured move on the weekly. Got this move down, a little couple bar jiggle, and down she goes again. 350 would be a great target. All right, so I don't have much here today. I see both Apple and Microsoft at the pre-market highs. They've clawed back. Those are Wall Street favorites. Astle, Climo here, gap in 932, gap's too big. And then, so we're flat in the weekly options trader. The advisory letter, we only have two positions. We're short Carvana, nasty bearish downtrend, and we're short puts in Microsoft. That's it. So we're waiting to reload. DWAC here. This is the Trump stock. Ugly gap breakdown on Monday. And wow, I don't know what happened yesterday, but wow, look at that. That thing fell like 12 bucks. I haven't been watching him lately, but something's up with that. RCL, Climo here. Look at all the volume sell off, gapping up here, 30-minute high. I'm just going to be in day trade mode, but 30-minute high, I'm sure we're going to find plenty of little day trades. I don't know what's going on with our blocks, but I saw it whipping around here pre-market. No pattern. Save, as the journal said, they're in the final stages of trying to decide who they're going to let buy them. No pattern, but we've been shorting some put spreads under here, the 20s and lower. I'll see what the juice is today. Snow got an upgrade, but day trade maybe. It's just a bounce and a nasty downtrend. This had earnings, but gapping down. That looks horrible. Baidu up big. These Chinese stocks are so hard to trade with China every day waking up and saying something different. So always look at Baba. Baba actually might have more room for a day trade to the gap fill, maybe 110. Zen, climactic buy setup, gapping up. That's a nice 30-minute high trade. I'll put that in that little window. Bitcoin looks like it's clawing its way back, break even, but that's a Climo. And Mr. clawed its way back, break even. He was down a couple bucks pre-market. Coin, I lost my pre-market. Coin down a little bit. We've been selling puts on these. I was trying on Mr. yesterday, going low offer to not get filled. I'll check out the premiums again. McGraw and I did a naked put on FedEx yesterday. Look at that beast. These vertical dotted lines are pre-market. Had a nice gap over this 15-minute base, ripped. Look at that. That is incredible strength. Oracle also had earnings and a big gap yesterday. I'll keep an eye on selling puts there. EDU, I've been watching for a week now. Just never given me a good entry. That's another Chinese stock, but look at the weekly. Big bottoming pattern. IBM was showing relative strength the other day, making the turn over yesterday's high, maybe after 10 a.m. Looks good. LI, I've been watching for a few days. Little EV stock, gap breakout yesterday, holding well, looks higher. UE, this is just a Climo. I'm going to set an alarm at 15:05. I mean, that's just a textbook climactic buy setup, but we need a reversal. $15.05. Charlie. Also, it's kind of a deep. It's like Climo, but deep buy setup. At least you got rising 50 and 200. So that's on my long watch list. UIS on my short watch list. Today's Wednesday under Monday's low. And the last two MT lives we had trading bear market bounces, which was very timely. And then last week we did short selling in bull and bear markets. Today we're talking about trading checklists. Kroger under these lows is a short. Wiley here. It shows it gapping down $2, but I don't see anything. If it is gapping down $2, then it's possibly a gap and snap. MEI. I don't like the way it trades. I also don't see a gap. PL gapping down, no pattern, 470. All right, so that's all I have here. Let's look at the fangs. Gapping over yesterday's high. Got a lot of resistance here. I wouldn't touch any of these things unless they could take out 30-minute high today at least. Google, well, at least see how Google's at least over this 2-bar of resistance. So Google I like as a day trade, 30-minute high. So I like this better than Apple. Facebook's been in pain recently, but that's gapping over yesterday's high. That could be a bounce on a downtrend. Microsoft, I don't like that it ran too much from this afternoon pivot up here to resistance. You could see how Google is much better. Tesla, still a dog, no interest. Same with Netflix. All right, so Google I like the best. 30-minute high, day trade of the fangs. And Q's also up a lot from yesterday's closing low, but 30-minute high looks higher. IWM, weaker resistance. Diamonds, you see the 15-minute chart? It's gapping to a ton of mess. So I have no interest in these. Q's looks the best of the 4 horsemen. Google looks the best of the fangs for 30-minute high day trades. And that's all I got. 928. Walmart here, I've been watching. It's a big old W pattern. So if it can give us a potent reversal here, but we don't have one yet. We're waiting for it. So it's on my list to watch day by day. Wow, Mister's up $4 now. They're being down. All right, I'm gonna be looking at short puts on this for Friday. Some of the people in the trading, it's just crazy how far out of the money you can go. Like the other day, we gave to the weekly options trader, we shorted the $40 puts for 75 cents. 40s. And now they're bid 10 cents. Some of the guys and gals were shorting the 40s and 50s yesterday. I was trying to, but did not get filled. And the 40s right now are 50 by 95. And now the market just opened and it's 25 by 2.25. I'm going to try 150. Go low offer 150. So that's me, low offer. Wow, tick 1500. Wow. And I'm going to also go low offer on the 30s for $1 and see if I get filled. If some crazy whatever wants to buy them from me, I'm there. I'm a willing seller.